Nuclear explosion scenes. Would they really detonate an atomic bomb? The crew couldn't do it for real, but the nuclear explosion experiment in the film could be simulated by real scenes. A real explosion's large-scale model was used to simulate the explosion through the near-big and far-small perspective method. A large camera was used to capture the scene up close. The scale was maximized within the confined space. Aluminum powder and magnesium added to the fire. The film was shot with 65mm ultra-large scale, film for a high-definition effect that simulates the naked eye. Audiences in front of the curtain can experience the reality to the fullest while watching the film. This is why Nolan chose to shoot the film in real life. The tension and pressure brought by this destructive weapon cannot be simulated by computer special effects. If you look back at the background of Oppenheimer's story, you may understand why many people call this movie more than just a legendary film. The man who calls himself the god of death is the father of the atomic bomb. Many years later, when Oppenheimer recalled the scene when humans successfully tested the atomic bomb, the words from India came to his mind. Poetry, is he really the god of death or the savior of mankind? Recently, Nolan brought this legendary figure to the big screen for the first time to restore this true history. The movie Oppenheimer has been released in China and has a score of 8. 8 is already a masterpiece. No doubt Nolan's signature flying line narrative is still very good. If you are curious about this film, understanding the following story may help you better immerse yourself in the film. First of all, who is Oppenheimer? He never won the Nobel Prize, but he successfully changed the world. He got a doctorate in physics at the age of 23. Einstein's intelligence equation led to the development of the atomic bomb theory a few years after the start of World War II. In order to get ahead of the Nazis, Germany had previously developed the atomic bomb. In 1942, the Manhattan Project was officially launched in the United States. General Leslie Groves appointed Oppenheimer despite his unsteady position, as there was no better candidate for the country. This laid the groundwork for the subsequent political persecution of the other party. Of course, this is a later story. Nazi Germany scientists were more outstanding in quantum physics, but funding constraints prevented their selection. The first atomic bomb was produced in July 1945 after Nazi Germany had surrendered and the Pacific War was still ongoing. Shortly after, the U.S. dropped 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to shock Japan. The second was to shock the world. It not only showed the power of this weapon, but also told the world that the United States could mass produce it. The first atomic bomb killed over 200,000 people, mostly women and children. It was also when Oppenheimer developed a very contradictory mindset. On the one hand, completely defeating the Nazis was his ultimate goal, but when he really saw the power of the atomic bomb, it seemed that he had just woken up from a dream. Nuclear weapons had a huge impact, so after the war, Oppenheimer and Merton tried to use their influence to stop the development of light bombs. The Cold War arms race escalated, and he was brought up again by the redemptionists and put on trial. He was trapped in a nightmare for the rest of his life. So this film not only looks back at the protagonist Oppenheimer's psychology in leading the production of the atomic bomb, but also focuses on 2 major events after the war. The secret hearing in 1954, when Oppenheimer was suspected of being a spy, and in 1959, Lewis Strauss was confirmed by the Senate. The latter was one of the founding members of the Atomic Energy Commission, and always had a strong hostility to Oppenheimer. 2 clues, 1 color, 1 black and white, 1 subjective and 1 objective, running in parallel may sound it is a bit difficult. But in the eyes of director Nolan, the most suitable group of people to watch this film are those who do not know Oppenheimer. So even though there are many characters in it, they all have their own interesting stories. The audience can also understand this period of history in a more comprehensive way. From many of the clips above, some people may have